Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to today's video. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Today's video is going to be on an eyeshadow palette. I'm starting this series where I'm going to do quick review of eyeshadow palettes, preferably newer ones, but I'll also touch base upon some of the older palettes which I have in my collection. I'm actually really scared to say series because I've started a lot of series on my channel. I have been pretty successful in some series and some series have miserably failed, but this is an eyeshadow palette series, so I think will be good. I will be able to upload videos on this. But you know what? How many palettes I have bought this year? This is August and I have bought just 3 palettes. Yes, can you believe it? This year I just have only 3 eyeshadow palettes. But yes, I'm going to review all of them. Plus I will also review some of the older ones which I haven't reviewed so far. So today's palette is going to be the ABH Anastasia Beverly Hills Nouveau Palette. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm going to call this series probably how to use an eyeshadow palette or palette breakdown. I don't know which one I want to choose. You can suggest me if you have any suggestion. Just a disclaimer that these videos are not going to be your typical tutorial kind of a video. I will do separate kind of videos for them, but in this kind of videos you will just get a quick overview of the palette, a review of the palette done in a sort of a different format, and I hope you like this format. If you want me to add anything further to this format, then please do let me know in the comment section below. So yeah, without much further ado, let's get started with our first palette of the day, ABH Anastasia Beverly Hills Nouveau Palette. Okay guys, so this is how the outer packaging looks like. I think you have already seen it. Some of you have already purchased it as well, and many of you asked me whether I'm going to purchase it or not. I think I updated you guys on my Instagram that I have purchased it, but on YouTube I think this is the first time I'm mentioning this palette. I instantly fell in love with the color story of this palette and I had to get it, and when I saw how many palettes I have bought this year, I had to get it. This was my second palette this year. Can you imagine? I bought it just last month. So here is the beautiful packaging, beautiful green color this time, like a olivey, dusty, mossy kind of a green color. The palette color is also similar. This is the outer packaging. Love the outer packaging of ABH palettes because it comes with this kind of a groove here where the palette is super easy to open, and I really appreciate it. It's the very standard packaging from ABH. The shades are mentioned here, the details are all mentioned here. I don't want to go too much into the packaging. The size of this palette is pretty similar to the previous ABH palettes which we have, but the real actual palette, it's a little bit like thinner. It's not as thick as the previous ones, so it's much more sleeker. I love the packaging on this one. It has a textured like linen cloth material kind of a thing. I don't know which material is this, but it has a textured material and it's very luxe. It feels very luxe as well, and the inside of the package is of course very different from the older palettes. It comes with this plastic thingy which I will not keep in the palette, but this is how the palette looks like. This palette retails for 80 Singapore dollars in Singapore here, which is very pricey, but I think all the other ABH palettes in the past also I think were around the 80-85 dollars range. So yeah, this is a pretty expensive palette. So let me give you a close-up of the palette now and show you what are the shades in here. So there are 12 shades in the palette as you can see, and there are mattes, 5 mattes in the palette, and there are 7 metallic. Now some of the metallics have a duochromatic texture as well. They are very sparkly. The palette also has a mirror, by the way, and I don't know, the packaging of this one is just so much more handier than the previous palettes. It's more sleek, easy to hold, lightweight, and the mirror is also quite big. Previous palettes didn't have such a big large mirror, and I don't know, I just love the whole vibe of this palette. Let me quickly show you the swatches of all the shades, and then we will go into a little bit more detail. Let's start off with the first row. We have the first shade, Wings, which is a muted silvery metallic shade which is very smooth. Next we have Isle, which is also a very smooth champagne gold color. Then we have Belle, which is also a absolutely stunning, smooth textured, bronzy, taupey sort of a color. Then we have a matte lavender, which is Wisteria. Then we have Lily, which is a metallic purpley pink kind of a sparkly duochromatic shade. Then we have Hope, which has also some sparkly effects in it, and it is a olive greenish shade. We have Paloma, which is a light beige color. It's a matte shade. Then we have Fleur, which is a light peachy matte shade. We have Liberty, a matte olive. Then we have Peacock, which is that beautiful bluish green metallic duochromatic shade. Then we have Metro, which is a dusty reddish brown color. Then we have News, which is a metallic, satin metallic dark brown shade. Okay, now let's look at this palette and the colors of this palette in terms of their tones. So I will go through the lightest shade, the deepest shade in the palette, as well as the crease colors, the lid shades, and which other colors which you can use to like deepen up your eye look. So the first one in here, which is the lightest shade, is the shade Paloma, which is like a highlight shade for your brow bones, and I just realized that I haven't done that today in this look. So let me quickly take that shade a little bit and just highlight this brow bone area. It's a beautiful bone color, and for my skin tone also it works pretty well. So you can see it instantly lifts the eyebrow area and just completes the eye look, and it definitely makes a lot of difference. So I use that as a brow bone highlight. That is the lightest shade. Now for the deepest shade in this palette, which is the dark brown black kind of a shade, which is called Muse right here. So the texture of this one is very interesting. It's not a matte shadow, it's a mattish satiny shimmery kind of shadow, but it is not too metallic or shimmery. It's very smooth, so you can actually use this as a shade to deepen up the eye look, which I have done today. It's a beautiful texture. It's shimmery satiny, but it's not difficult to blend. It almost blends like a matte shade, and I like that they have included a deeper shade like this. And I think you can also use this as a base color and then top it up with one of the duochrome shades in the palette, which is called Lily. That also gives an interesting dimension to that shade. Here you can see that it's so beautiful. So if you want to do like a grungy look, this is a go-to shade. Now let's look at the crease colors which are here in this palette. I would say for my skin tone, the crease colors which I can use in this palette are two, Liberty and Metro. So this one and this one, these two would be like perfect crease colors, and this one also works pretty well. It pairs very nicely with this kind of shades. This color, which is also will be a good crease color on someone who is lighter than me. For me, this is more of a blending shade, so whenever I'm using this one, I use this one to just blend out this shadow to give a more smoother gradient. Then we have another crease color which will be good for someone which is lighter than me. For me, I can use this somewhat as a blending shade when I'm using this one, but it doesn't show up that well, so it looks a very subtle lavendery rosy color on my skin tone. So to sum up, there are 4 shades which can be used as crease colors: this one, this one, this one, and this one. But for my skin tone, I think these two work the best as crease colors because they're a little bit deeper shades than the others. Now all the other colors can be used as lid shades. For the lid shades as well, there is a nice variety of tones. There are some lighter lid shades and some deeper lid shades. So for the deeper ones, we have this one called Peacock. Then we have this one called Hope. I think these two are my favorites, as well as this one Belle, which is a lighter lid shade. It has a taupey vibe and I love those kind of colors. So Belle, Peacock and Hope are some of my favorites from this palette. This is how they look like, all these 3 shades: Belle, Peacock and Hope. For grungy nighttime looks, I will go for Peacock, which is that beautiful gunmetal oil slick kind of a shade which will give a bluish look on the eyes. And for something green olivey, I will use this one, which is called Hope. It's a beautiful green taupey kind of a color. Then the rest, there are 3 more: Wings, which has a very silvery vibe. Then we have Isle, which is a beautiful light ochre, very smooth kind of a yellow toned color, very light pale yellow toned color. This is perfect for like inner corner highlights. This one I don't think I'll be using too much on the lid. And then we have this one Lily, which is the main lid shade which I'm wearing today. I will give you close-ups of course. And Lily is the shade which has sort of like a duochromatic vibe. There are a lot of sparkles in it. I think they are blue from what I can see, and in certain lightings the eye look just glistens very pretty. Lastly, for deepening up your eye look color, there is one shade only in this palette. I wish there was just another deep color in this palette, probably like a blue or something, or maybe like a blue green. That would have been great, but anyways, there is just one color Muse which you can use as a deepening up shade. Whenever we want to buy an eyeshadow palette or see a new eyeshadow palette, we are always wondering how many looks can we do with this eyeshadow palette. This one of course is quite versatile. You have a nice variety of colors. So I think with this one you can easily do probably 6 or 7 looks, and by looks I mean using 3 or more shades. So of course you can use all the shades on your eyelids as a single shadow, so you have 12 looks out there already. But I think if you want to mix and match and play with the colors, you will probably get about 6 or 7 nice looks. So this is the first look which I have created, very apt since there's an olive green themed palette. This is the first look, which is the olive green look, and this is how it's going to look on my kind of skin tone. But here in this eye look, I have used the dark brown in the outer V. I will show you the crease color here, how it looks on me. So I've used the olive matte crease, and I have used the olive shade as well here, which is Hope. Almost all of the eyelid I have concentrated mostly in the lower portion of the eyelid. I haven't gone entirely up, so that also gives something different of a look. And also I have used this one Belle, which is that bronzy color, in the inner corners just to highlight. So this is the first look which I created. So in this eye look I have used 4 shades from the palette. Metro, which is there in my crease, which is that light brownish rose color. Then we have Fleur, which I have used to just blend out the previous shade. And then we have Lily, which is in my center of the lid. We have Muse, which is used to deepen up the eye look. And then we have Isle as well, which I have used in my inner corner. So those are the 5 shades. So yeah, not 4, but I have used 5 shades for this eye look. Okay guys, so that's a breakdown of the colors in this palette and my thoughts on this one. This is honestly, I think this is one of the best ABH palettes I have seen after ABH Decay palette, which is like my so beautiful. I just love that palette. I think after that this comes a close second, and along with Norvina also. Norvina was also a very good palette, but I think ABH Decay and this one has very similar kind of vibe, similar quality. The mattes in this one, they don't have that much of a fallout. The ABH formula has changed drastically. The mattes are really blendable. The only fallout I have noticed is with this one, this Muse shade. If you want to blend like in the outer V, there will be a little bit of fallout, so just be mindful of that. The other metallic shades are just perfect. Even with Lily and Hope, although they have like little bit of sparkles in them, they are very smooth. So I haven't noticed that kind of fallout with all the others, but with Muse I have noticed a little bit, very tiny amount of fallout. But other than that, the mattes are just super blendable. The color range is so nice of the mattes and the metallics as well. I think this is a really well done palette if you are interested in this color story. And if you don't have color stories like this, you can get this definitely. It's a very versatile, colorful but not so colorful palette, I think, which everybody can wear comfortably. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. I hope this was helpful and you got an idea of how to use this beautiful palette from ABH, the Nouveau palette. If you like this video and the format of the video, then please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up And if you're watching me for the first time, I really hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching today. I will see you guys really soon in my next video. Bye.